We're here to talk about what you can do with Microsoft Planner. That's not just around scheduling, that's everything to do with project and portfolio management. So we'll be very specific around what you can do with the tool set out of the box, but also what you can do with it afterwards. Okay, so the agenda for today is we're going to do a quick overview of the path to next generation project and portfolio management. We're going to unbox Microsoft Planner and have a look at that. We'll talk about Planner and the Power Platform. I'm going to talk about something that we have from TPG called Project PowerPack, which is built on the Power Platform. We're also going to then have a quick video, which is the agentic AI capability from Microsoft Copilot for their project manager agent. That's currently in preview. It's only available in the North American tenants at the moment, so we don't have access to that. Then we'll have a wrap up and next steps. So brief history of project portfolio management. So I started actually in the 90s, but if we think about it in that way, project management was very much not for the masses. We had the start of things like Project 4.0 and Project 98, which is where I started, but we also had like the mini computer type things like Artemis 9000s, and then we had, the start of Primavera, AMS real-time projects. And really, it's in the 2000s where things start to kick off. We had more of a server-based approach. We had something called Microsoft Project Central, which I recall using, which actually worked on Oracle and on SQL Server at the time. We had Microsoft Project Server came along, versions in 2002, 2003, and 2007. We had the likes of Plan View. So with the start of the kind of browser approach to being able to do things with project and planning. And then in the 2010s, it really took off. We had a lot more browser-based, as you could start to see in the 2000s. Agile, which I know has been around for a good amount of time, but we saw a lot more change into agile ways of working, and that's agile with a capital A. So looking at the Agile Manifesto there. We had Project Online turned up in 2012. We had things like Microsoft Team Foundation Server, which became Azure DevOps eventually, and obviously Atlassian Jira. And now we're into obviously what we would term the fourth generation. So it's really around software as a service, as you can imagine, but also low and no code capability. So how can you extend what you already have? And of course, we've now got the start of Copilot and agentic AI capabilities. So still with Project Online, still a great tool, and we'll talk about that towards the end. We now have Microsoft Planner, which was a project for the web and has been renamed. And at TPG, we have our Project PowerPack, which extends these capabilities. And we even have our own scheduling tool as well, which we'll talk about a little bit, not too much. We are running a series of webinars here. So in the coming weeks, there's a more in-depth review of TPG Project PowerPack. And we're also looking at how you can bring all of your tools together in one place. So I'm really conscious when I run these webinars that we get to the crux of the matter. So today I'm going to start next with Microsoft Planner. We're going to look at the out-of-the-box capabilities. Once we've done that, we'll look at how we extend it with Microsoft's Power Platform. Then we're going to come back and look at the Project Manager Agent through a Microsoft video. So next part is a brief overview of that. So let me just check in here and go to the right screen. All right, so here we go. So this is, I'm going to swap between a couple of screens today. I'm looking at Planner. I've got Planner Plan 3 here, just so you're aware of that. And I'm in the My Portfolios view of this. So with My Portfolios, what I can do here is create a grouping of the Planner schedules that I have. So here's my TPG EMEA view. If I drill into it, I can see the plans that I have available and that I've actually pulled together. So in this one, I've got a customer support plan that Carl owns. I'm doing something around sprint planning, and then we have our IOD plan as well. If I wanted to, I could drill into these, but I can also set a simple status. Are they on track, closed, off track, not started, at risk? So very quickly, I can get that list of project schedules and really kind of understand what I'm doing with them. As I said, we'll drill into these in a moment. I also get a roadmap view, and the roadmap view allows me to actually pull tasks from these projects into kind of an overarching view of the world as well. And I can set the status for these. So here's my project begins. And I can set the status as done, high risk, at risk, on track, not set, for example. Yeah. And if I wanted to, I can see the details, drill into it over here, and actually set the status. So I have those options. So this is a really simple way of being able to group your projects together and then pull in key aspects of that. So in fact, if we look at my IOD project here, I've selected it. I can add a row item, and on the right here, it opens up all of the tasks within that project. And I can select which ones I want to appear on this particular view. So in fact, let's say I wanted to monitor user adoption and have that as a view here. I can click on add, go away, and then that gets added there. So it just gives me that ability to have a really high level view across all of my projects, or the ones that I choose, and be able to view that. So pretty useful item there. So let's look at that. In fact, IOD is the project I want to go to next. So in fact, we could just actually go straight there. So here's my IOD project. There we go. And we're going to look at the various different capabilities. So I'm going to look at a plan that I've already created first, and we'll look at the different capabilities, and then we'll talk about how I can add and use Copilot within here as well with my plans to create a plan if I so choose to. Okay, now let's have a look at this. A couple of things here. So at the top, we've got my grid view, board, timeline, charts, people, goals, and assignments. So we'll have a brief look at all of those. Now, a couple of things here. You can see that as I start to complete my tasks, I can actually click on the little box button here, and it will mark them as completed if I wish to. There we go. All right. You'll notice I've also got some colors being shown here. That's because I've got conditional coloring set up. So, for example, if assigned to equals me, then they go green. Yeah. And if the duration is more than 5 days, they go orange. That's how I've set that. So I can just add a color, choose any of the fields on the screen, choose an operator, and go from there. So if the priority is equal to urgent, yeah, maybe I'll mark them as a kind of purple color. And I can click that, and that would apply. So really easy way to set up your conditional coloring per project. Now, the other thing you'll notice is that we have baselines now. So this is a relatively new capability here. I baseline this on April the 30th. Plan is set to finish is scheduled on track. And I can see which tasks are overdue very easily. Yeah. And I can see which tasks are due this week. And I can actually see all of the baseline details as well. So you have that ability to understand what the original schedule for your project was, or task in the project, if there's a difference, and what that variance might be. So while at the moment Plan only has one baseline, and I believe there'll be more in the future, with TPG's products, the ProjectPowerPack, we can actually snapshot this data for you so that you can see changes to your projects over time through Power BI, for example. So there are options for you available in terms of how you can manage your projects and be able to understand how they're changing over time. But it's great to see that from Microsoft, of course. All right. And again, I'm showing the baseline here. It's giving me those values. I can hide that, and away that goes. So the grid view is very much like using it in Excel, is how I always kind of think about that. All right, board view. Obviously, the board view, I say obviously, the board view is, very much if you want to use more of a task board type approach. But the great thing here is that I can use the timeline, the Gantt chart, the more, the what we've used for years, but I can also see things in this task view. I can set colors here, which is just a useful way to break things up. So I've got a planning phase, an execution phase, and a review phase. So I've just set the colors on those. And these are all of my tasks, of course. Yeah. So if I was to look at develop training materials, I click on that and I see information about it. I can see who it's assigned to. So I can assign it to anyone that I've set up within the system. You do have the option as well of being able to set generic or role-based resources. So that's a feature within that. You can add labels. So again, we've got different colored labels here. Now, at the moment, this is only on a per project basis. The plan is, or we believe from Microsoft, that in the future, this will be able to be set centrally. So you'll be able to have the same labels across your organization. In fact, I have a call about that this afternoon. So I'm not sure I'll be able to tell you anything about that, but there are regular calls that I have with Microsoft around this. I can also add a note. So there's lots of things. Develop training materials. Make them interactive, for example. So I can add extra information there. Again, I've got different things. I can set which bucket this belongs to. I can put a priority, say what sprint, for example, it's using. So I've set up sprints in here. Also, I have a checklist. I think this is something which is super useful. I've seen this over the years where people have really detailed project schedules when in fact maybe they just need a task which is like a week long, and then the things that they're going to do within that. So I'm just going to say create, select, plan, and manage. And these are the things that I need to do within this. So I can go, yeah, I've done the creation part and the selection part. So that's great, right? We have the dependencies there, so we can start to see that. If you're using Planner Plan 3 or Plan 5, then you get what Microsoft term as the advanced dependencies. So not just finish to start, you get finish to finish, start to start, and start to finish. So super useful. And nowadays, you can also put lead and lag in there as well. So again, not sure people are really aware of these changes, but they do give you the type of scheduling that you actually want. Of course, we can connect this to Teams. So if you're within Teams, then we can have that. So you can have your chats and IMs around that and have everything really in one plane. We've got connected to goals. So we have some various different goals that are set within the system, and we'll look at those briefly. Now, the other thing that you can see with this is that for each of our tasks, we can see the changes over time. So you can actually see what I've done to that task when it's created and so on and so forth. And this actually also ties in to some of the security aspects that Microsoft have in Microsoft 365. So you can make sure and understand what people are doing to the tasks, to the projects, and have that audited. So that's a really, really great feature. Okay, so there's my tasks, and obviously I can drag and drop these around and do what I need to. We've got the classic timeline view. So in here, obviously I see my tasks. I can see if they're completed. It's very drag and drop. If I want to create a dependency between something, I can do that by dragging and attaching it to another task. So we have that. The other thing that we can now see, though, is that we have a critical path view. So I don't know how many people really know or think about critical path nowadays, but really the critical path allows me to understand what the impact is going to be on the downstream activities should I make a change. Now, anything that's on the critical path, if it changes, it will have an impact on the end date of the project. So what we can see here is got lots of tasks on the critical path. However, depending on how we've built our project, we can see we have some which aren't. So if they move by X amount of time, then they won't impact. Yeah. So we have that option. Now this is super useful, but what it does mean is that you have to put dependencies between all of your project tasks. So it makes you schedule correctly and understand how you build that. So for example, when I build plans, typically I'll have milestones at the beginning or certainly at the end of each of the phases so that I can track those things more easily. Obviously, the other thing is good planning standards. would define that you should have those milestones at the beginning and end of your phases. It also helps them with reporting, because you can then track just the milestones, for example, for reporting periods. So super useful in that particular way. Plenty of filters that you can use on here just to look at certain bits of data. We also have some basic charts. There's much more in reporting. So this is just, some really quick look information. How many tasks have we got remaining, which buckets are things in, how much effort are people actually undertaking or been assigned. If we look at our people, we can then view that. So again, I've got different options. So show workload by the number of hours, for example, or the number of tasks people have. You've got compact mode, high completed tasks, and group in different ways. So again, maybe I just want to do it by priority. Maybe I want to do it by the goals that they're in, maybe just by the buckets. Again, you'll notice sometimes if I have things by bucket, I'll get the colors coming across, which is pretty neat. In this particular project as well, I've set up goals. So in this one, we've got things like develop. Now I want to go to the next one. Complete initial setup and configuration of planner within the next 4 weeks. These are the tasks I need to get done. And you can see, how are we progressing towards those particular items. And I can define which tasks I want to be part of that goal. So again, those goals are going to be more of the kind of, we want to achieve this, we want to evaluate the effectiveness of planner. And by putting those in that place, again, it's another way for us to track how we're actually achieving the goals for the projects. And then finally in here, we've got our assignments. Let's refresh that. So assignments are going to allow me to actually see the details of who's doing what when. So if I look at monthly views here, I can see Anthony's working on these particular tasks and how many hours is he spending on again, monthly, but it could be weekly or daily daily amount, and I get the same for me. Again, you can do this different ways. If I want to, I could do it by task, less useful perhaps, or by resource. So what we've seen there, hopefully, briefly, is I can see my portfolio. I can group all of my, I can group one or more of my plans into a portfolio and see that in various different ways, and see my roadmap, of course, as well. I can then drill into my particular projects, see the tasks, baseline them, understand the critical path on that as well, set up things like conditional coloring. Now, the other thing then is Copilot. Obviously, there's a big push around Copilot and AI at the moment. And I just wanted to start to show you what the art of the possible is here. So I'm going to go into Copilot, and I'm just going to ask, let's say, act as a internet website designer and give me a plan to implement a new website. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. So it's going to go away and start looking about it and build my plan, right? And then it's going to actually put that into my project schedule, as you can see on the left. Now, I'm not saying that this is the world's most amazing project manager or person who knows how to build these things, but it does start to give you what you're looking to achieve. So if you don't want to look at just a white sheet of paper, this is a great starting point for that. So I can see project initiation. So let's put a simple work breakdown structure in it. It's put it into some buckets. Now, what it doesn't do at the moment, by the way, is give you durations. Just something to be aware of there. There are options that I've done in the past, which is to use Copilot, ask it a question, say, give me a work breakdown structure, also give me, start and finish dates and durations. And then I can import that via Microsoft, an MPP file. So there are options around being able to do these particular things and work in those particular ways. So super useful. Start of Copilot, it's giving me some tasks there. And then it starts to say, what else can I do? So like I can go to the goals and you can see it's actually put up some goals for me. So launch a new website by August and complete the website design, for example. So it's given me some example goals for me to work towards. So really, really super way of being able to get something that you could start to use very, very quickly. Okay, so that is what we have in terms of Planner. Super useful, great way, meets 80% of what most people actually want. So how do we then extend Planner, and what do we actually mean about extending Planner? So if you look on the left-hand side of this screen, we've looked at scheduling, and resourcing, whether through a Gantt chart or a task board. But what happens about all the other things that you need when you're running a project? So documents and benefit management and assumptions, risks and issues and reporting, right? And that's where the Power Platform where it comes in. So I make no assumptions about how much you know about Power Platform. So I'm going to give you the very high level view. It's made up of a number of capabilities. First one is Power Apps, allows you to build your own apps. Yeah. And then Power BI, which I'm sure most of you have used, it's been around for like 10 plus years now, easily. Visualize your task and project data. Then you have Power Automate if you want to build various different types of workflows. And then finally, Dataverse is actually where Planner data and Power Apps data and the like is stored, but it's called a Dataverse. At its very, very lowest level, it's an Azure SQL database. So again, very accessible. And then, of course, it's not just that. Power Platform also has things like Power Pages if you wanted to create external kind of websites. And Copilot Studio and AI Builder allow you to extend it even further. And that's what we use. And again, PowerFX is part of the language of being able to extend Power Platform. So you can go and build applications on top of this. So I want to show you briefly TPG ProjectPowerPack. What this does is gives you a singular view across your projects. We have portfolios and programs and projects. We've got places to capture your risks and issues and documents and the like. We've also extended it with our own applications for things like timesheets, resource management and finance. So we'll briefly talk around that. We will be doing a deeper dive into this in a couple of weeks' time. So sign up for that particular webinar. Now let's jump across to that. That is going to be over here. So here's my TPG ProjectPowerPack. Now, first things first, you could go away and build something like this yourselves up to a point, right? We've spent a lot of time. It is a product. It has a regular cadence of product updates. There's a roadmap associated with it. So TPG's done all the hard work, and for relatively small cost, you can deploy this in a number of days, get it up and running and have it available for you. It comes with around 40 reports. They're ready to go. And sometimes we work with customers and customize that a lot, but a lot of the time we deploy it and they work within the approach that we've provided. So I'm in as portfolio manager today. I can see things like my actions, my active projects, my active risks, and my active issues. So these are all the things that I'm currently working on. So on the left-hand side, you can see we've got the menu. So again, projects split into portfolios and programs and projects and their actions. You can have a project request inputs. So for example, people could come in here and say, I've got a great idea for a new project, and then actually start to pull that forward. That's an option for them. There we go. Here's my active project requests. I can go and create a new one. Everything's forms based, very straightforward for you to do that. Put in your information and then push it forward through a workflow to actually get approved or put on hold or maybe rejected, unfortunately. But there you go. That project request can then turn into the actual project. So again, you can have workflows to make that happen. So let's go and look at one of our projects and how that looks. I'm going to go to my PPM implementation project. So you can see here, these are my active projects. You get various different views in here that are, again, configurable. And when I say configurable, it means that you can make those changes. You don't need to work with TPG. They are something where you don't need any development, and it's something you can do within the tool set itself. So again, this is our TPG ProjectPowerPack is built on top of and using the Power Apps capabilities. So here's my PPM implementation project. I can see it's in execution at the moment. And then along here, I can see the different capabilities that we have. So here's my project details, right? So everything's going well. I can select the KPI. This one is subjectively set. I can see different estimates for the project, like things like forecasts and actuals that we've built into here. I can even see the schedule. So again, this is coming from Planner. So, there's my project. Here's my grid view. Here's my board view that we looked at earlier, timeline. Yeah, so I can see everything in one place. I don't need to go and swap in and out of different products. Here's my financial view. So this is an add-on that we've created. So I can see things like forecasts and budgets and actuals. I can say what cost category is it, for example, what expense type is it, CapEx or OpEx, and I can start to track that in here. Again, removing that need for Excel. We also have the ability to have a resource plan. So resource plans are a really simple way of us of actually creating a plan for what type of resource we're going to need and when, without having to create a full project in the first place. And we can then compare that against the actual project schedule. So again, it gives us that ability to say, right, I've created a resource plan. Many of you will have done this in Excel in the past, where you'll have, a person, how many hours per month, for example. We can then synchronize that with the project schedule and go, right, yeah, if you want this, you're going to have some overload. So you can see things like an overload, and you can also see their project work. What we'll do in a moment, we'll look at how a resource manager can look at that across everything that everyone's up to. I could pull in things like key milestones. We were talking earlier about the key milestones, and it's a great way to plan. And so on. I'm not going to go through each of these, but I think you get the idea. Here are my risks. We've got the risk matrix. And if I want to add a new risk, I can click on here, and it opens up the little side screen. I give it a risk name. I can assign it to people. We can set up categories that we have out of the box, when it's due, the state of that, likelihood and consequence, and away we go. So everything is very forms-based. Everything in one place. You can see here we've got our risks, our issues, our changes, actions, decisions. We've got various different bits of information. So thinking about, say, our team managers or resource managers, we have the ability to have a rolled up resource plan that is showing us availability and capacity across all of the work people are scheduled to do across all of their projects. So that's a super neat way of being able to understand where you've got issues and overloads, and then obviously start to make decisions about what you want to do around that. And then timesheets. So again, if you've got team members, we have the ability to have a timesheet. I started completing mine for the week. I can put a comment in here, everything's going to plan, love this project. And that can then go for an approvals process. And of course, the key thing, and where I actually normally start with these things, is what's it look like from a reporting perspective. We've put all this information in. Like I said, we provide you with a ton of different reports that are available for you. If I was interested in my risks, I can come in here, see a bunch of risks, select an individual project, or see them all rolled up. That's completely up to me. So we have that ability. Very click and collect, right? So click on these and allow me to drill into those or see everything. I think when it comes to reports, you can imagine it goes on and on and on. But if we have a look at things like our dashboard of for resources, that's a key one that we get for a lot of organizations. They really want to understand what everyone's up to and when they're up to that as well. So again, we have that ability. So you don't have to go and create these from scratch. You can take all of our 25 plus years of combined knowledge of working with organizations to help them do more with what they have around project and portfolio management. All right, let's head back because we want to start kind of wrapping these things up. So what we've seen with Planner, Next Generation PM, so you've got Planner, we've looked at that, data's in data first, right? You can then extend that with Power Apps and Power BI. And again, you could go off and build these yourselves. Or you could work with TPG, use our Project PowerPack, have that available in kind of days, basically. We do have our own scheduling tool. The reason behind that is because some customers just want to have a singular view, and that's how they want to work. So TPG Scheduler, we'll be looking at that in more detail in the next webinar, which is 2 weeks today. So we've seen how we can extend that with Planner and Power Apps and Power BI. I've given you a demo of the TPG ProjectPowerPack. And like I said, that is deployable in days and weeks. And for you, though, that remain on Project Online, let's just talk about that briefly, shall we? So Project Online, not going away at the moment. You've got your Project Online database, Project Web App, and most of you are probably using Power BI for reporting. Where we go next with that is that for a lot of customers, we're starting to move things like their risks and issue logs and what have you away from Project Web App, and they're using Power Apps and Power BI and the data first to pull all of that information together into one place. So you're still using Project for its great scheduling capabilities, but moving some of the other things away. So again, they might even start to work in a more hybrid way by using Planner. They would use Project PowerPack, for example, as a quick way to bring all of this information together. They might use TPG Scheduler as well. And then if you really are advanced, and we do have some customers working in this way already, you might be doing things like using Deltek Cobra for EVA, for example. You might be using things like Predict for risk management. You might be using Oracle Primavera and Jira. And you might have data in other locations, in other databases. But with TPG's Project PowerPack, and we have a product called PS Link, again, we'll be talking about that in a future webinar, then we can help you bring that all together into one place. So whether you are a program or project manager where you want to bring your own work management tool, or you're a resource manager or a program or project manager or an exec, you can gain access to the information that you need across your project environment. And that's the key to what we're looking at today. All right, so I want to look at Microsoft Copilot Agentic AI, so the project management agent. So this information, we know managing projects is challenging, can be costly, tracking tasks is time consuming, and this is some Microsoft statistics about how how an agent could actually help. Now, like I said, this is only available in preview in the North American tenants, not in the UK or EMEA tenants. So I'm just going to pop over here and show you a video of that today. And then from there we go. Here we go. So let's get this video going. Watch this.
Introducing the Project Manager, a new agent that automates project and task management. Start by creating a new plan and then selecting Plan with Project Manager. Give the plan a name and share it with the group. Now it's time to set the goal for the project. Think of this like a well-crafted prompt that AI will use to create relevant tasks to complete the project successfully. The more descriptive and specific, the better. You can even add relevant files to the plan to provide key information and context. Then click Generate Tasks, and the project manager instantly creates a task list tailored to this goal. Yes, it's that easy. When the team wants to brainstorm, they can use the Microsoft Whiteboard app right within the plan, allowing them to stay in the flow of work. As sticky notes are added, they can be converted into tasks, which automatically adds and updates the plan. Tasks can also be added manually or through the drop-down menu and assigned to team members or the project manager for completion. You can track the project manager's progress on tasks in the board view. Sometimes the project manager may need more input. When it does, it places the task in the Needs Your Input bucket. By clicking on the task, you can open the loop component and provide feedback. Simply click Regenerate, and the project manager executes the next steps. Multiple team members can also leave feedback on completed tasks. All feedback is captured live within the loop component. After making the necessary updates, click Regenerate, and the project manager takes care of the rest. Changes happen to any project. When they do, the project manager makes adjusting your plan easy. Simply update the goal and click Regenerate Tasks to instantly refresh the project plan. As your project progresses, you can review the project manager's recent activity on the Project Manager page, ensuring everything stays on track. Want the project manager to handle it all to get work done faster? On the Project Manager page, just click on the Assign All Tasks to Project Manager button. With the Project Manager, you're not just managing tasks, you're empowering your team to collaborate and execute more effectively, keeping your projects on course and on time.
Okay, so a short video there from Microsoft. So what you saw there was the ability to obviously create plans that we've looked at briefly, help you manage the plan and tasks. For me, the project manager is more around having an extra person to actually go away and do things for you and on your behalf. So is it strictly a project manager? I think we'll see more once we get onto it. But certainly an interesting thing, and certainly something at TPG that we're working on ourselves to create agents that will help you and our customers. So something to stick around with. We'll be doing more about that in the future. So let's wrap this up. So Planner, you can start today. You've already got it in your Microsoft 365 environment. You'll have the basic version. Like I said, we'll provide links after this. If you want to, you can go to Planner. You can look at using Power Platform, plus look at the TPG ProjectPowerPack, get you up and running super quickly, not just around schedules, but obviously around your risks and issues and documents and links to teams and the like as well. So we can really help you bring that together. Like I said, we've got some customers, they just use our TPG scheduler product. So we're going to talk about that in the next webinar and delve a bit more into the Project PowerPack, Power Apps, Power BI. And then if you're using Project Online, yeah, exactly the same. So you can continue to use Project Online. We can help you migrate and use Power Apps to capture your risks, issues, and reporting and the like as well. So absolutely bring your own scheduler, bring your own best of breed capabilities, and continue to utilize what's great around Project and Planner and everything that you need to help manage and deliver your projects. We have a free ebook, we'll send you the download for that as well. It's called the PPM Paradise. It's really about best practice for how you can work across your organization. It's tool set agnostic. So if you are looking to get a new PMO, set up a PMO, revitalize your PMO, then download this and have a read. And then keep in touch. These are my contact details. We've got plenty of ways for us to find out about us. Look us up at theprojectgroup.com, obviously. We'll be in contact with you to say thank you, pass on this information, give you a link to the video, and we can really help you make a difference in your organization.